Hello, I'm Fred, and welcome back to Vlogmas 2020. Today's topic, the problem with drinking culture. But first, a beer. Today's beer is Even More Jesus. Now, I don't have a Jesus, so I don't know if this is more of it. For me, this is the first Jesus. It's the first of a series of 3 different beers. Same topic that just keeps adding more words. This is another Imperial Stout. So I don't want to drink too much of it while I'm trying to talk, or else I'm going to forget what I'm saying. Oh, look. Like used motor oil. Apparently I could have gone slower. Alright, much like last night, I guess I'll have to wait for that to die down a bit before I put the rest in there. And maybe I'll start planning ahead when I'm trying to pour these cans into that glass. So yes, the topic of today is the problem with drinking culture. And I just mean in general. I can only really speak to the U.S. I have been to Europe for a couple of brief summers. And yes, I drank there, but it's not the same thing as drinking here. But I can't really speak to it because my experience wasn't as long. What I mean by the even concept of drinking culture is the fact that so many people seem to drink a lot. Like a lot of alcohol in all its different forms. Is there a problem with it? I think there is, but not in the fact that people are drinking. Obviously, I've been doing a vlog on it. Once again, irony. But I mean, I've brought it up a couple times, though. How do people drink every day? Like, the whys are a different thing we'll get to, but the how? Like, it's like smoking. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of killing your taste buds. Drinking does not kill your brain cells. It numbs a few of them, but it doesn't kill them. That's kind of a ridiculous statement. A lot of statements made to get us to stop doing things end up being really ridiculous in the long run. See prohibition. It looks more like motor oil. You know what? I'm going to sip it before. No, I don't want to sip it right now. I'm kind of thirsty, but it's too much foam. So, one of the problems is that I see, and I always have, so when I was in high school, I guessed, but did not really know that people were drinking. Well, there was one time I saw these dudes drinking from a 2-liter Dr. Pepper bottle in their locker, and then they got busted after a teacher came up and smelled the bottle. So I'm guessing there was more than just Dr. Pepper in that bottle. But aside from that, I didn't see a lot of drinking around my school. I didn't do it. In fact, I was a part of a group that was anti-drinking for teenagers. I still am anti-drinking for teenagers. Do I think the drinking age should be 21? I don't know. That's more of a poli-sci question. But I think that the laws given as the way they are is a baseline, if nothing else. So I guess really going into college even, I didn't drink for the longest time. I did start drinking slightly before I was 21. I don't know how long before, but it was only a couple of times. So the first time I got drunk I was 20. I was in my late 20s, like later in my 20th year. And yeah, I've had drinks since then, on and off. It's not something I necessarily seek out to do. There are plenty of times where I've gone out to a bar with friends or without friends, meaning to drink. It's just not found something I want to drink. So I just have a Coke, hang out. There's also no problem with that. Bar culture can be its own problem, but I'm only talking about the alcohol in general. I think that it's covering in a lot of cases, it's a case of self-medicating, which sounds worse than it is. People can self-medicate, it's fine. It goes beyond that idea, though, when it kind of consumes your life. Do I think a daily drinker doesn't need to drink daily? It's up to you, not to me. I know I don't want to drink daily. This is my 8th day. I can guarantee I won't be doing this again next year. Maybe I'll have a wine and cheese one and just go back and forth. So, aside from the idea of over-medicating when you get into the realms of alcoholism, just like with doing recreational drugs, some of them are more addictive than others. Some of them aren't that addictive at all physically, just mentally. And that's a self-medication thing again. There's a difference between wanting to have fun and wanting to hide from your problems, real or imagined. I'm also not a psychologist or psychiatrist, so that's not me to say. But it goes beyond that idea of self-medicating when we talk about how it affects other people in their day-to-day lives. I am, as you can see, well, as you can imagine, a white dude. I grew up this way. There's certain part of the culture I was raised in that says that, I can do whatever I want. And when you mix alcohol with that, a lot of people do whatever they want. And so you get beyond what I call the general assholery of young white men in general. And don't get me wrong, we don't have the exclusive rights to that. We just utilize our rights a little bit more than anyone else does. But then there's the idea of rape culture, which as a teenager I argued against. But the older I got, the more and more I saw there is a culture that views rape as okay. And I think alcohol being part of our culture only serves to perpetuate that idea. So in that case, yes, there's a huge problem with alcohol and with alcohol culture. So yeah, I'm judging you if you drink every day. But who am I? I'm just some dude on the internet. I have friends who drink every day. Do I wish they didn't? No, I don't. That's their choice. If it's self-medicating, if it's just for fun, I'm not the one to say. And the ones that do, you got two types of people. People are going to worry about it or they're not going to worry about it. If you're not worried about it, perfect. If you are worried about it, well, change your behavior or don't. I don't know. You can't stop yourself from worrying. So, yeah, I've got different reasons. I grew up in a house that didn't have a lot of drinking. I know a lot of people who are anti-alcohol grew up in houses with a lot of drinking. And you can approach from either direction. I've got a slight scar I noticed on my nose still from college where I got hit by a flying beer can from a gentleman friend of mine, obviously a very close friend, who was trying to tell me to shut up. Fine. I didn't really need to be assaulted to shut up, but hey, that happens. But that general assholery was because he had drank that beer, and who knows how many before. This is a lot fruitier than I expected. A little bit more bitter than I expected. My wife is tiptoeing through so she doesn't make noise or something, whereas a couple days ago my kids were loudly whispering in the other room. So the only other thing, I am checking my notes, the only thing I want to bring up, and after my judgmental stare and talk, I wanted to let you know this is a problem I see with alcohol culture in our country. I don't think there's a solution. For one, people don't care. It's part of our culture because that's what our culture is. And two, it's not a problem you solve. It's something you think about, you talk about, and you improve on for yourself and for others. We might get to more talks on judgment later. I have certain views on that. In short, humans are humans, and we're going to judge. It's how you handle that judgment that kind of makes you a jackass or not. Let me have some more jackass juice. So no, if I was really against drinking culture in its entirety, I wouldn't drink. I did, however, stop my programming group called Hops and Hackers, where we go to a bar and learn how to program or program different whatever we wanted to. It was fun. It was a good way to hang out with some friends that I wouldn't normally see all the time. But I was tired of promoting the whole idea is that we need to drink in order to hang out together. It was just kind of a weird thing to do. It helped that no one really showed up all that often. Plus it gets expensive. It's much cheaper to drink at home, typically. So there we go. That's my true rant. I think it's much more rantier than the IPA rant was. So, enjoy your rant. I did think about hello kitty, a toast to sign off with today. Give me a second, I'll remember it. But at that time, before that, I ask you to check out the rest of these vlogs. Stick around for the upcoming ones. And see what's on my other channels. Sometimes I can be an entertaining dude. It's not all about rants. Salud!